Hey folks, how's it going? So I have some cool news to open this week's video if you didn't hear it already in previous videos, but the channel now has members. So if you actually want to join the channel, help support this thing, you can go ahead and hit that join button next to the sub button. And for $4.99, you get yourself a cool badge next to your name and some emotes that you can spam in the chat of premieres. So if that sounds like fun to you and you want to help support the channel, go ahead and consider hitting that join button to join the T Squadron, because that, also let you join the T Squadron, get your name at the end of videos and stuff. Also, if you haven't done so yet, hit that sub button and maybe ring that bell if you want. I'm not the boss of you. I'm just telling you that's a thing you can do. Also, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly God of High School discussion video, and today we're going to be talking all about episode 8, Close Friend. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so this week I had assumed that, the previous week was the one where I had a mountain of things to say, and that, oh man, at least next week it won't be as long. I'm going to attempt to not make it as long, but yeah, this might get kind of long because there is a lot to talk about. Now, thankfully, I am JoJo Talks Too Much. I am he who could talk to the ends of the earth, but for the sake of my voice, I'm not going to do that because I've finally gotten the damn thing to get back to normal. I haven't had any throat issues for a while because I've made videos shorter and because I've been taking better care of myself. So if I end up making 40+ minute videos again, that's probably not going to be great for me. So I'm going to attempt to keep it relatively short. But we're going to actually start doing sort of the inverse of what we normally do. Usually we'll start with all the story stuff that happened in this week's episode, and then we'll talk a little bit about character designs if there's any new ones. But I figured, since it's why a lot of people when there's a new character, I'll get tweets or I'll get mentions and comments hey, new character next week, design time. So it's all right, okay, design time. So we're going to start with design time this week. We're going to start with the designs of 2 characters. There is another dude, but he's kind of an also-ran on their team. He just loses right at the beginning of the episode, and he just kind of has he didn't have a design that I felt like going into. So we're just going to talk about the 2 parks instead. Sunga Park, the cousin to our boy Illpyo Park. Illpyo Park. I'm going to call him Ill because this man is ill. As for the girl, I don't really know her that well, so she can just be called Sunga. I don't know her like that, so she doesn't get a nickname. Once we know a little bit more about her, then sure. For now, Ill is named Ill because he's ill, but Sunga, I don't know much about her. So she's just going to be Sunga Park. And Sunga Park is hella cool. I actually think that this design might be my favorite. Which I know some people would be like, what? It looks the most one of the things with God of High School, and this isn't a knock. I love that the original creator is able to give these characters such unique designs. There's not really a design that I dislike. I wasn't a big fan of Missy's design. If you remember the wrestler character, I didn't really like her design all that much. I thought it was just kind of loud, in all the wrong ways. But every other design in the show is really fun and interesting, and it just really gives a unique voice to each character. So this isn't a knock. I'm just saying that of the characters' designs, the ones that I seem to like the most are the ones who look like they're most prepared for a tournament. And of them all, I have to say, Sunga has the most badass looking outfit of the bunch. She looks like she came to play, and by play I mean whoop some ass, right? She looks the most prepared for a fight. And you could just tell that in everything about her. You could just tell she's ready for a fight. You got the black sleeveless top. It's sort of almost like a gi type thing with some red lining. And then you got the red and black fingerless gloves. You got the blue belt tying the top together. I don't know why it's tying the top together because it's not a gi. It's just a sleeveless top, but it's there. Maybe to keep the shirt from flopping all over the place. I don't know. But then you get the white baggy track pants with the black stripe down the sides. But most interesting is her physique. She's a muscular character with taping around the chest, arms, and feet as well. You got the black taping around the feet normally associated with kickboxing. So it's oh, cool. She literally looks like she's ready for a tournament. She's ready for a fight. And it's hella cool. And I had to give them kudos for that because I thought that it was really well done. Now, in her character design, there is a lot of black. Now, black being, as a color, I was going to say more so being the absence of color, but whatever. Black in a character design typically associates things like a mysterious character, an elegant character, usually like, you know, like the svelte black suited type characters. They look very elegant, very suave, sophisticated. Here, I almost feel like especially like the pants in particular, like the black and white design to the pants, it almost strikes as sort of like, I am just here to fight. And that seems to be the personality that we get from Sunga. Like, she just seems like she's here for a fight. Like, it's very black and white, and like, when you say black and white, you typically mean like clear-cut, basic, not even basic in a bad way, just like here to do one specific thing, a very clear-cut character. And I feel like that's what we're getting here with the design. There is a bit of red, though, as well. Like, there is a decent amount of splashing of red into that design. Now, red, obviously, strength, fire, you get that in the design, man. Like, she just strikes you, like, when you see her, as an intimidating figure, right? She's gonna whoop your ass. And I like that she's friggin' muscular, man. Not that Sunga is necessarily on a waifu contender list. I don't really know her like that. But still, she's a badass. And, like, you can absolutely see that in the design. Also, cool to note, the long light brown hair is, like, tied back, which is cool and everything. But I only mention the hair because I have to say that it ties into the eyes. The light brown hair is a perfect match for the amber-colored eyes. And those amber eyes really give off this sort of, like, piercing gaze, right? Like, again, she looks like a fighting game character. Like, she looks like she showed up for a tournament. That, like, shot where she, like, stares at our boy Ill, who is ill, it's hella cool. Like, you could just tell she's an intimidating figure in the ring, and you really get that through the design. I thought Sunga's design was friggin' great. Now, Illpyo Park, our boy Ill's design, by comparison, is much more calm. Like, his design is much more, like, if Sunga looks like she's ready for a tournament, Ill looks like he's ready for, like, he's like just like he left the house and forgot his shoes. Like, that's what Ill looks like. He's much more, like, calm, much more chill looking by comparison. You even get that in his eye color as well. Whereas Sunga's eye color is amber, like this very piercing amber shade. Ill's is much more of, like, his eyes are like a light blue, but they have like a more calming blue, like sort of like looking at a lake, you know, like a very calm, like serene lake. That's sort of like looking into Ill's eyes, which I realize makes it sound like I'm like being romanced by him. And to an extent, we'll get into it later, kind of was, but mainly in his pursuit of a different character. We'll get into it. But yeah, like the light blue eyes really indicate a sort of serene, calm spirit, right? If the eyes are the window to the soul, an eye color in a character's design really tells you, or at least should tell you, a decent amount about the character. And you get that through Ill's eye color, this sort of calming eye color. It's really interesting. He has the dark blue, like sort of shaggy looking hair. Blue is very much like a trend with him. It's like his design is mostly lots of black, gray, and blue. Lots of blue specifically, because he also has the light blue jeans. And again, not really suited for a tournament, right? Like, you're not exactly going to watch somebody enter a kickboxing tournament wearing jeans. Mind you, they are loose-fitting jeans, so at least that makes sense. But yeah, he's rocking the light blue jeans, so he's got, his design has a lot of blue, but it also has a decent amount of gray and black as well. The gray hoodie I find interesting, and even like the way he kind of throws up the hood when he's in the middle of a fight, like, or like at the beginning of a fight, maybe to sort of indicate like back off, like, because gray is this. I don't know if he's necessarily gray as a character, because he seems like a decently heroic character to start off with. He might get gray later, and maybe that is what the design is meant to indicate, that he is going to have a lot of shades of gray. I don't know. But that could be what it means. Or, again, it could just be a color. Like, keep in mind every time that I'm talking about, like, this is what this could mean, and this is what this could mean. Or our boy Youngji Park just thought those colors look cool. Like, that's also a thing. You have to admit, even if we like diving into what the character designs mean, it could also just mean, I don't know, I just thought it looked cool. So yes, am I reading too far into things? Abso-friggin-lutely. But we like to do that around these parts. That said, the gray hoodie, again, it could be an indication of, like, he's sort of a morally gray character. I don't really get that from Ill, so we'll see if maybe that's gonna come into fruition later. But we also get, like, his whole hoodie is very interesting, right? Because you get, like, this sort of black sleeves with this sort of like cloudish design on them. And at first I was like, that must be a pain in the ass for animators to deal with, like the clouds on the arms to like make sure that they don't look wonky. And yet at the same time, I think it kind of fits for his character, because he is a bit of an aloof character, right? Like he's a very calm character. You can see that through the blue eyes, but he is sort of lackadaisical, like he's got his head in the clouds. So I like that there's an actual cloud pattern on his sleeve. I think it actually fits the character really well. And of course, there's the most important thing, the fact that he has no shoes. No, I'm kidding. The most important thing about his design is, of course, the white tiger on the back. Now, this is very clearly a nod to Grandpa Jin, who Ill actually has quite the interesting history with. And in order to get to that, we gotta talk about the new greatness, the new hotness. Sadly, MoGo is dead, but we gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about the new hotness. We gotta talk about Illmo. Illmo? Illmo sounds too much like Elmo. Sorry for the pause. I was just like letting that sit, and I was like, nah, Illmo sounds too much like Elmo. I don't know. Chat, what do you think? Or I guess if you're seeing this after it premieres, comments, what do you think? We need a ship name. Anyway, let's talk about it. There is like immediate chemistry between these two. Even before they meet, there's immediate chemistry. Like even before they meet, the fact that like Mo's like, oh my god, that tiger, I've seen that tiger before. That's Grandpa's tiger. Oh my god. Also, like you can tell Mo is not just sort of enthralled by the tiger on the back of the hoodie, but also the man's fighting ability. Taekwon. Yeah, I believe it's Taekwon. And the crowd itself says like it's sort of antiquated. They're shocked to see it in the tournament. And from what I looked up on the best, most reliable website, Wikipedia, Taekwon is often considered like to be the oldest martial art discipline in Korea. So that's interesting. I feel like I learned something today. And you can tell like that Mo is very much enthralled by this dude. And I think that's very good, because clearly our boy Ill is very much enthralled by Mo as well, since when Mori meets Illpyo, they sort of have this light banter between them, right? There's this sort of friendly, like a friendly sort of like we're rivals, but we're kind to each other, you know, like a light rivalry, sort of like the later parts of Pokemon. But it immediately, and I do mean like not immediately, but very quickly, it goes from light banter to friggin' our boy Ill just throwing hands. Like, just throwing hands out. And it goes from throwing hands to getting handsy. Listen, y'all. Y'all know me, okay? I am a shipper. I admit this. And there's this one dude who watches these videos who's gonna be like, ugh! There's this one dude who comments on these videos who's like annoyed that I'm a shippy dude. But listen, I gotta tell you guys, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if you don't like shipping, and you don't like me being a Fudanshi, and you don't like just generally like me being more interested in fictional characters getting together than anything else, you're probably not gonna like the channel. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mind you, I'm not obnoxious about it, and I totally understand that there's a lot of shippers out there who do some dumb shit. So, and I don't stand with them, so I understand if that upsets you, but we're a very shippy channel here, so if you don't like that, you may want to skedaddle. That said, holy shit, look at this screenshot. I absolutely am going to leave this up for as long as physically possible. Like, when I saw this moment, I was like, okay, they got hella chemistry, man. Like, they could be boys, right? And I'm thinking, like, maybe they'll be boys. They'll be bros. Super friends. Super bros, right? No. This is, like, immediately, once I saw that shot, I'm like, yeah, that's gay. I like that. That's good. That's the good ship right there. Which kills me, because it means that MoGo is dead. And that breaks my heart, because MoGo was my great love. Well, I have had many ships. I've been at this for a while. But MoGo was my first Gotta High School ship. So it sucks to see it go rip in pieces, but it's all about Illmo. Moripyo. Moripyo? Nah, that doesn't work either. Guys, I'm gonna need your help on the ship name. But for now, I gotta say, is pretty deadly, man. Like, not only do their personalities bounce off each other beautifully, but also just the tension in the air. I put this screenshot on Twitter, and even people who knew nothing about the show was like, damn. Like, the tension in the air just by this one shot is intense. And even Mo says, like, why didn't you finish it? And I'm like, I wish he said, why didn't you stop? Or why did you stop? I'm sorry. Like, and again, I know some like very like uncomfortable with their own sexuality dudes are gonna be like, bro, what are you like, shut up. It's fun. Oh man, I love their personality, and the fact that like, and this is what makes it like a 10 out of 10 ship, is A, they're great characters on their own, but B, they're better when they come together. I can already tell that at some point we gotta get like these two teaming up against friggin' Jaws over here. But we gotta get these two teaming up on JoJo at some point. But they also have like a history before this. Like, don't forget that in the flashback, like a young Ill meets a very young Mo. So it's like, oh shit, they've been in each other's lives without knowing about it. Like, destinies intertwined. It is great, is what I'm saying. Like the fact that they've been it's almost as though destiny is shoving these two characters together, and you love to see it. It makes for great ships. And yeah, I'm all about it. I think that these two could become something beautiful. Do I think they're endgame? Absolutely not. This does not seem like the show that's going to have some LGBT references and shoutouts. I would love if it did, but I don't really see that happening. So I am perfectly fine with this being absolute fanon. And honestly, yeah, we've said it before on the channel, I'll say it again, sometimes fanon is better anyway. And Grandpa Jin, man, can we talk about Grandpa Jin? Like, Gramps is a real one, 1010%. Like, Gramps easily set our boy Ill on the path to becoming like this Taekwon master. Let me know how it's pronounced, by the way, in the comments, without being a jerk about it. Taekwon master, whatever. He taught him to master his father's preferred martial art, right? And he delivers him a book of Taekwon secrets, and it's from Ill's dad. And it turns out that that Grandpa Jin and Ill's dad were friends. And according to Grandpa Jin, Ill's dad died saving the world with him, and that pride lives on in Ill's blood. And it's like, bruh, Grandpa Jin's a real one, like 1000%. Grandpa Jin, I miss this dude, man. Like, when they show him in the flashbacks, I'm like, damn, we really could have used Grandpa Jin in all this madness. And I'm like just everything about it, man. Like, everything about him is dope. Like, the fact that Ill specifically put, or like whether or not he embroidered it himself, or got somebody else to do it, or he just went out looking for a jacket that was similar. The fact that he got the tiger on the back of his hoodie specifically to honor Grandpa Jin shows what an impact that Gramps had on Ill, and what an impact that he has on Mo as well. Like, you see Mo like really lamenting the fact that Gramps isn't there for another birthday, right? Which is not his fault, right? Grandpa Jin like does feel bad about leaving Mo, right? Like, he says, like, Mori, like, it's not like, please man, Mori, don't make this harder than it has to be. Because, you know, Gramps is like, listen, like, Mori, you're my blood, you're like, I love you, like my grandson, like, you're my grandson, I love you so much, but I can't stay here, there's bad people who are coming after me. And Mo, you know, being Mo, is like, but I'm 6 years old, I can kick their ass now. He's like, no, that's still a kid. No, you're still young. Just be young and enjoy friends. And when Mo says, like, I don't want friends, Grandpa Jin says, there's nothing better than friends. Like, there's friends are the best. So find the best, you know, like, make friends. Like, friends can get you through anything. And you know, in that moment, he's thinking about, like, his own friends. He's thinking about Ill's dad. He's thinking about whatever comrades he had in his own time. Because clearly, we are seeing, like, a greater scope here, right? Because Grandpa Jin clearly had adventures of his own, like, much before the God of High School tournament. Like, clearly this world has had quite a decent amount of history that dates way beyond Mo and the gang. Mo, Han, and Mira, like, dates way beyond them. And it's really cool to see. And it just makes me wish, like, freaking Grandpa Jin was here, man. Like, I just, like, and you can tell he wants to be. Like, he absolutely wants to be. He seems like a doting grandfather when he's around. But because of, you know, who he is and likely where he's been, he has to keep moving, which sometimes means leaving Mo behind, which obviously doesn't sit well with him. But I love the fact that, like, Mo is thinking about him on his 17th birthday, and that sort of mirrors, and the whole scene mirrors what Gramps said to him on his 6th birthday about finding friends. And ultimately it leads to Han, Mo, and Mira, like, being there for him on his birthday, and it's really friggin' sweet. But then somebody drops off a note at Mo's door literally the next day. My boy Mo can't even enjoy just a single birthday before shit like just pops off. Somebody leaves something at Maury's door. It contains a map and a picture of Grandpa Jin looking all beaten up, and he's like confined somewhere. So that's likely what's gonna be going down next week. So yeah, not a great time for Gramps. Gramps could absolutely be doing better. And even Mo's not having a great time of it this week. Honestly, he seems really down in the dumps. Like, Maury seems so almost like upset at the idea of borrowed power. And I absolutely wanted to mention this before we wrap up the video. That, again, Mo really reminds me of Goku, like a hell of a lot. And I mean that in the sense that whereas Han and Goggles, our girl Mira, Han and Mira are like very aware that it's almost becoming a necessity to find a way to obtain borrowed power. Mo doesn't like that idea. Mo specifically says that he doesn't like the idea of borrowing power from others. Like, if he wants power, he wants it, like, he wants power that he himself obtained, right? Nobody else, right? It has to be me. And again, this really reminded me of Goku in Battle of Gods, right? When Goku achieves Super Saiyan God, he is impressed with the power and he's happy to use it, but at the same time, he doesn't really like it because it's not something he earned on his own. He needed the others together, like the other Saiyans together, to give him that power. So he's not crazy about it. And that's sort of how I feel in regards to Mo. Like, I'm sure eventually Mo will take some borrowed power from oh gee, good golly whiz, I wonder who. I'm not gonna say because I'm not a dick, but oh my goodness, I wonder who it could be. But like, I have a feeling it might be something similar to Goku, where it's like, I like this power because it's dope, but I didn't earn it on my own, and that bothers me. Like, and I feel like it's gonna be the same thing with Mo. And even Han is on the hunt for some borrowed power, asking Commissioner Q for help, and basically saying he'll make him dinner every day if he helps him achieve borrowed power. And it's all because he doesn't feel like he's being dependable for Mo. And that sort of, that breaks my heart a little bit. The idea that Han thinks that he's not dependable enough, and that's why Mo's not telling him what's going on. And honestly, like, I have to stress that, like, the trio, and it's likely, like, I know exactly the screenshot I've been using, because there's this shot where, like, the trio are, like, laughing together. And even though Mo spends most of the episode down in the dumps, you see him by the end laughing with his friends on his birthday. And to me, it's like, that's the moment. Like, they've already been friends for a hot minute, but that was the moment where I'm like, okay, this trio is like legit now. Like, they are truly friends in every sense of the word because they're there for each other. Like, no matter what Han says, like, I know Han says, like, I want to be stronger, right? Like, like, I just want to be stronger. That's it. Like, winning the tournament's part of it. But I also, want to beat Mo someday. So that'd be nice. Like, I want to be able to be stronger than Mo. But Q rightfully says, like, you also want to achieve that power because you know that Mo's not telling you, like, what's on his mind, and you think it's because you're not dependable enough, right? So Q read him like a book, right? So I love that scene. And I love the scene of them just hanging out and laughing. And apparently Han can cook, which is great for friggin' Mo and Mira. And Mira too, even Mira's like, I haven't even mastered, like, the Moonlight Sword, and I'm supposed to figure out this borrowed power thing? Like, how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna get by? And Mira knows she's gonna get by with a little help from her friends. And I don't know. I just think it's great. I think the trio in particular really connects me to the show, right? Because I love that friendship between the three. I just think it's the best. And now for some additional notes, because if I don't mention it, people will be like, how come you didn't mention blah, 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 blah. So, the rich dude, did he die? I have no idea. I heard the beep, but it sounded, I don't know, like the poor lad from last week, I don't think he made it. Q breaking into PM's office. My husbandos were fighting. Don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, PM was having none of that shit. But yeah, it was weird to see my husbandos fight. Don't know how I feel. Commissioner P, I think that's who it is, like the blue-haired girl. She's pretty rad. She has like marionette powers, and thankfully she shows that Sim's family didn't die, that they used the marionette power to protect the wife and kids, so thank goodness. I appreciate that, because I was really bummed out by that, so I like really appreciate that the show's like, don't worry, they're not dead. So it's like, oh, okay, good. Also, PM's group and Nox have a meeting at the same time. And they're both talking about how they're going after the key. One wants to take down God, the other one wants to protect God. And the commissioners are allowed to remove their limiters, which means, holy shit, we got a hell of a lot of badass fights ahead of us. But yeah, that's everything that I thought in regards to this week's episode. But yes, that is indeed going to wrap up today's video, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I kept it to a decent time. I want to keep these videos between like 20 to 30. So hopefully it's somewhere in that ballpark. And again, I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, then don't forget to boop that up snoot and share if you care. And of course, as always, I have to give a big, big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names. And hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are now 2 ways to do so. The first way is by checking out that first link in the description to check out our Patreon page, and the second is by hitting that join button. And if you join here on the channel, you not only get your name in the credits, but you also get a cool badge next to your name so people can know that you help support the channel. That shows up both in the chat and in the comments. And for premieres, you can get emotes to spam in the chat whenever you want. So whether or not you want to check us out over on Patreon, whether or not you want to join us here on YouTube and become a member of the channel, either way, if you're even considering it, thank you so much. It's super appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the T Squadron. And on that note, I'm gonna go play some Street Fighter because this episode really made me want to go play Street Fighter. And until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube. And wash your dang hands. Oh, also, before I forget, speaking of Street Fighter, I should mention this. We stream on Twitch. I should maybe leave I'll leave a link in the pinned comment. We stream on Twitch like 4 days out of the week, so if you ever want to come hang out with me live, streaming over on Twitch. Usually Sunday to Wednesday, 4 to 8, if you want to hang out. Anyway, bye-bye.